Hello, my name is Bill Haley for Haley2024 the Movement, Government Reform Ideas. Now this video is going to be on Milton Friedman said, concentrated power is not rendered harmless by the good intentions of those who created it. This is back probably about 30 years ago, maybe 40, or he lived a long time. He probably said it many times. So Haley2024, I just want to show you how diffuse the power is, so we don't concentrate the power. Now, we still have the federal, the state, and the local, so that's diffuse. We really take a tremendous power away from the federal government. Instead of the federal government being all-powerful and the states being very minor, we give states a ton more. We leave only the only foreign protection system, military, diplomats, and the like to the federal government. Very small amount the states might give over to the federal government for, let's say, an FBI or something like that to work across state lines. But the state governments are going to have a lot of power to give and pull that back and control that. The federal government can't sit there and impose that. It has to be given and to help work together as a collaborative, not as a federal government coming down. And then same thing with the environment, and we'll go over all the different areas where we're going to split it up. So I split up government power into 30 sectors. We're going to get into those 30 sectors. But within every sector, everybody has roughly 12 competitive governments that they get to choose from, and only the one they choose governs them. Charges them taxes. Their members elect the leaders within their membership for their competitive government. They have a legislative, executive, and judicial power. So we really diversify. So we take what we have now, we split it by 30. Then within all 30, everybody gets to pick from one of a dozen, and the one you pick governs you. So really diffuse. We really divided that power tremendously. But these are still organizations big enough to do big things, but not so big as to become so bureaucratized, so overbearing, so monopolistic that we get only monopolistic bad effects from it. The free enterprise in the service of government services, in the competition of government services, is what I'm talking about. So let's go over it a little bit. And then the rating system side is another, 80% of this is on the competitive government side. 20%, highly important on the rating system sides, is going to keep a lot more at the competitive level, not at the monopolized sector board level, and stop significant negative externalities, and give people the high quality information from a wide variety of perspectives, a wide variety coming from roughly a dozen competitive rating agencies that you get to put your power behind one of the 12. And there's different ways of looking at how to rate things. And then let's look at the 30. Here's 15 of them, 5 in the charity system, 5 in the foreign protection system, 5 in the violent crime mitigation system. So we diffuse this. The top leader for the diplomats is a different person than the top person from the commander-in-chief. The diplomats should be able to say, look, either we create a deal, you stop doing the harm you're doing around the world, or you stop doing the harm that you're doing to the United States, or we're going to stick the commander-in-chief on you, and they have the full power of the private sector military. With the military corporations, their products are going to be military capabilities for the purposes of protecting America, commanded by the commander-in-chief and ordered by the diplomats. So you see how we've separated those powers out. Violent crime mitigation system, we need different people. The best person for the diplomat is not the best person for the commander-in-chief. Those need to be separated out. The best person for law enforcement is not the best people to judge within the prisons, and not the best people to judge what to do in their expertise. They're different expertise for the courts, for the law enforcement, for the prosecutors, for the prisons. Totally different people will be in the charity system within the charity financing system, within the caseworkers, within family law. We don't have a chief executive at the mayor's level, at the governor's level, or at the president's level that's the same for more than one sector. There's 30 mayors, 30 governors, 30 presidents. And then in reality, there's 12 of those per sector. And you won't get governed by yours or have good representation from yours, depending on the sector. So it's highly important to understand how all that works. Now this is legislative, executive, and judicial. So legislative power over regulations, competitive regulatory agencies. The legislative branch makes the regulations. What set of regulations is the best to do business with? If you think it's just the one that has the lowest level of regulations, think again. That's not going to be the best regulatory system for you. Your ratings are going to be so low, nobody wants to go with you. People protect their brands right now of high quality. People choose to go with the BBB or the realtor or name brand private sector regulatory bodies. Businesses take on that extra expense and extra headache of having that BBB next to their name on their window. So they're going to have their ratings on their windows. So don't think they're going to have low standards, or low standards is going to be the default. So it's important to understand that concentrated power causes harm. Milton Friedman learned this, and it's been learned all over the place. Does Ted Cruz or AOC or Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, George W. Bush, did they really know prison policy? Did they really know diplomat policy? Were they really the best commander-in-chief? When they had to do tax policy and prison policy and environmental policy, how can they be an expert at each? If you take one day, full day, learning about on each one of these sectors. Let's look at these sectors, how broad they are. Helping the poor, being a diplomat, being a commander-in-chief, dealing with the military, spending money on the military, the prisons, judicial system, law enforcement authorization, who deserves a badge, who doesn't deserve a badge, the prosecutors, the police. If you spent one day on each one of these, that's without taking any days off, you could spend 1 day per month on this. And usually you work 20 days a month, so it'd take a month and a half to spend 1 day. Are you an expert at that? No, we want somebody who's been in the business 20, 30 years. Now they're 50 years old, they've been in this business for a long time, to be a legislator. And let's say they spent their life as a prison guard and warrant and throughout the system doing prisons, and they really know prison. That's who we want to be the legislative branch within the competitive governance system for that. People who are educators, we want them to be within that system because they know it best. They're spent all day, every day, 50, 60, 70 hours a week on education. They know it. Not just 1 day every month and a half, 2 months. Plus, a politician right now, they're spending half the time campaigning, raising money, on the phone trying to fundraise and everything. They don't have time to do all this. We want people who have that time. And the competitive governance system means that politicians aren't out there campaigning all the time. They might have the competitive governance will have spokesmen to try to recruit people into their competitive governance so they have more influence, they have more members, more money, more influence, more representative power. But the people who really are good at administrative, and running it and being the executive, we want them full time doing that, not raising money, not campaigning, not everything else. There'll be a part of that, part of the competitive governance and CRAs will be part for outreach and training people and telling people what their competitive governance system is. But that doesn't have to be the administrator. That doesn't have to be the person you ultimately vote for to be that top executive administrator. So, concentrated power. Not good. I divide it up significantly. So, subscribe to my YouTube page. Even if you're looking at this on another platform, that YouTube page is highly important. Subscribe to wherever you're at for sure. But go to the YouTube page, subscribe, and make a comment. Share if you can. Facebook, share for sure. Comments, all that makes my reach go further. My website's the best place to look to get the full scope of my reforms. It's laid out beautifully there. All my reforms laid out, full write-ups, videos embedded all over that website. And then consider a donation. I'm not making any money. I'm putting a lot of my own money into this, hiring people on my own. I'm not a rich man. I'm just trying to put these ideas out there for competitive governance into the arena of ideas, because I believe this is the next pathway to get better liberty. So until the next video.